Hello and welcome. Today is the 6th day of January 2017, and welcome to the Silver Charts channel. We're on this morning's video. First, I'm going to talk about this article headline, and then if I happen to be a math teacher of some sort, maybe I might give a pop quiz today with these 3 questions as a possibility. And then as far as the charts are concerned, I'll go over the daily chart for silver and Bitcoins experiencing another big down day, and I'll talk about that as well. So first, the article headline: New gold and silver highs in 2017. Bill Murphy, who joins Silver Doctors, and this is where you can find this article and many others, for an exclusive interview, and predicts new highs coming for gold and silver in 2017. Murphy is especially bullish on silver and warns once silver breaks through 21 an ounce that the gold cartel will start to lose control and silver will be on a volatile ride towards $100 an ounce. And I hope you're right. And even if it works like, okay, it makes that 100 number in 2018, so be it. I will state though, since 2007, late 2007, definitely into 2008, that I've always easily found great information to why this thing is going to ultimately come through a large tipping point collapse within the next year. And that has been consistent, and that's going to remain consistent until it comes. And that's the key word, until it comes, because this national debt is going crazy, which leads me to my next section. I have a screenshot of a national debt on January the 6th. Actually, that would be January the 5th. Excuse me, no, that's today. Yes, no. This is January the 5th. This is the 6th. Okay. Anyway, this is what the national debt... Oh, this is going to screw my answer up now, I think. Anyway, I'm going to go through it anyway. I'm going to continue. I'm not going to stop this video. Question number 1. How many hours in decimal form elapsed during this time? I got that one right. How many fiat dollars were added to the debt per millisecond within that time? And I got that one right. This one I might get wrong. Using the same rate, what exact time will the national debt reach 20 trillion? And when you're doing math questions, you always have to show your work. And that's what I'm going to do, is show my work. So to answer number 1, the way I figured it out was, well, from 12 o'clock to 12 o'clock, that was 12 hours. And then this was 27 and a half minutes away from 12 o'clock. So that divided by 60 works out to 62.5%. So I'll add it to that. And then there was 8 hours, 8, plus 23 and 35. That works out to 8.393 hours. So the time elapsed would be 21.018 hours. Next question. How many fiat dollars were added to the debt per millisecond? Well, the new debt minus this debt, simple mathematics, today it is anyway, for 552 million. I say that because back when I was in high school, calculators couldn't calculate this many digits, but today they can. So that's the national debt. And to find out how many milliseconds, I'd take the hours of 21.108, multiply it by 60 minutes, multiply it by 60 seconds, multiply it by the 1,000 that you need for a millisecond per second, which comes up to almost 76 million. Divide the two. Every millisecond during the time yesterday into today, $7.27 was added to the national debt per millisecond. Okay. So using the same rate, what exact time will the national debt reach 20 trillion? I'm probably going to be a day off now after this error that I made up top. And the answer to that, well, what I did is 20 trillion minus the new debt, we're out to 47, and a bunch of numbers. And then I divided the 552 million debt, and, well, it worked out to around March 22nd. Is what I came up with at 7:24, but I could be a day off. It's good to know, however, that when Obama comes in at around 10 trillion and is going to leave around 20, he doubled it. Nothing more to say about that. Let's now move on to the daily silver chart as we take a look at today's session, which hasn't done much, but it's stabilized a little bit sideways through time. I was stating yesterday I would have liked to see the price go up a little bit higher, and it hasn't. It's technically came back down to this band. So I guess it's up to you if you decide if this is established resistance using that same type of thing, because it's not quite high. And that's, of course, if it starts to go over. But even if it does, it's still bullish. When you got the situation of you make a high, you correct it, and then, of course, you break through. Now, the interesting thing is I was going to make a video last night or early morning after midnight, because I noticed that this thing went down instantly to this low, practically from this high, in the 1 minute period, or in less than 60 seconds it happened. And since then, it hasn't really done much. And that's, I guess, more bullish than bearish, but nonetheless, it would still have to get above this key point to have any type of bullish sentiment when there's been significantly the amount of lower highs. And this one draws up nicely within the trend if, of course, you start to see it roll over. And that's the thing. You start to see it roll over because it ain't going down to those like 15, 14, 13, 12 levels until it breaks 16 first. And if it doesn't break 16, then it's ultimately going to start a bull market, obviously. You mentioned yesterday about this head and shoulders pattern that could be starting. If you want to go one step even further, if it doesn't resist where this neckline would be and say it just keeps going up, well, if it goes up to 19, probably wouldn't, but if it does, and then maybe falls back down here, you'd have a much bigger inverted head and shoulders as a possibility. But this is just one more way of showing how long this has been in a bear market and how many different lower highs and lower lows have came through along the way. Okay, now let's finish this off within the Bitcoin chart, which is experiencing yet another large down day. I really have to suggest that if you have a very good dollar cost average in getting in, there is pretty much no excuse for not losing in this stage. And that's how I feel about this, because unfortunately you almost have to say that on any given day, whether the price action has this at $2, $100, whether it's at 835 or 1100 or 5000 or 280,000, that it could go to nothing in the next 24 hours at this stage. However, what is the real likelihood that that comes into existence? And that's definitely not good at all. You're talking about 0.00 and how many whatever, and then maybe a bunch of numbers after that percent, which is basically not going to happen. But who knows? Someone has to win the lottery, or some people do win it, and that's multiple millions in one as well. Same point, this thing could be at like 5,000 at the end of this month too. It's very hard to tell how the wild volatility is going to move because it's definitely in play. I do think for the near term now that this level at 790 might be an important one, because it sure as heck doesn't look like a good immediate time to buy now when we see that it comes from this point down here, so a little bit below the 18 average lows, and then it managed to barely go above the 18 average of highs, and then today has crashed since and has broken yesterday's low, currently near the lows of the day, and volatility at 19%, so it's lost over 15. It's lost about a quarter now since this point. It would now be the worst performing currency of this short year, down about 9% for the year, after it was up like 20% for the year at this stage. So there's been a lot of massive movements within this, to say the least, and you got to expect that it's going to continue to do so. At some point it'll stabilize and you might get some periods of lower volatility, but until this thing can establish where the support level is, because I can't deem this bull market anymore. I deem this as if this thing is broken down below this low, and you have to watch out for lower highs coming in on these rallies that will again test some of the lower areas. Now, I shown earlier this more longer term chart. I'm not going to update it, but if price actions now, what's the number? 845 is it? 835. So if price actions right around here now, that means it's above still this 18 average band on the 1 day plus a week chart, or the 8-day chart. So therefore, it's in the correctionary phase still within this, and we can see that the lower part of this band and Fibonacci retracement is in at 699 or 700. So that's really what the key number is for the more intermediate to long-term time frame, is the 700 number, where short-term it's starting to roll over. We can put 700 here. So therefore, the next 3 immediate term targets that I can really give is 790, 700, and 650. And that will be it for today's video. I'll talk to you later throughout the weekend. Bye-bye.